Hey guys, Pragmatic Prepper here. I was planning on doing a sort of daily vlog series, just everyday coronavirus follow-up, but I've just been too busy getting things ready that I hadn't already, topping some things off, just sort of dotting my I's and crossing my T's. So it's been a little crazy the last few days. Even the cats are being weird. They can tell that something's going on. Come here, buddy. They can tell that something's going on because everyone's been around and staying indoors a lot more and moving things around and stuff like that. So they're kind of stressed. All right, now you're gonna sit on my notes. I had to write some notes down so I could sort of keep my thoughts in order. So since the last time we talked, things have changed quite a bit. It's been drastic, actually. So when I first did the video, I said I don't want to be alarmist. I didn't, want people to be too concerned, and my main concern was people's reaction to the virus. Well, things have changed quite a bit. First of all, the media cycle on this is nonstop. There's nothing but this on TV right now. It's on the background over here. It's the same thing I see every 5 seconds anyway, so it's nothing new coming up. But since I did a video, my general area has had a number of confirmed cases. I don't live near the city, so it's not as much of a concern to me. But the county that I do live in, all the schools are closed indefinitely. I think they said at least 5 weeks. It might be more than that, which is a big deal. All restaurants and bars are closed. It is illegal for restaurants and bars to be open, which is huge, especially for those small businesses. Grocery stores have been closing earlier to restock at night. People have still been making runs on groceries and toilet paper and stuff like that. The toilet paper thing is, people joke about it, but it's, people do, things that they see other people do. It's more of a herd mentality. So you see hand sanitizer and paper towels, toilet paper disappearing off the shelves. But people I still see buying like premium cuts of meat and, lots of perishable stuff that you just figure, like, what can you use in the long term? So that's odd to me. Water has completely dried up. No pun intended. It's still there. It's still available in some areas, but I mean, you have to sort of wait for it to get restocked. So I'm glad that I'm way ahead of the curve on that stuff. Canned goods are disappearing. Medications, like over-the-counter stuff, disappearing. And so just in a matter of a few days, we've seen the water and food supply being severely depleted. Stores are rationing, which I think is, I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like people should be able to buy whatever they want, but I also do think that buying, 6 months worth of toilet paper might be irrational, especially when you see everyone doing it. But if you got the money, you should be able to do whatever you want. I guess I'm kind of in the middle on the issue. I understand the store's rationing, but I also understand that if you believe that you're going to need it, that, if you're there and you got the money, you should be able to buy it. Bars and restaurants shut down. All gatherings of more than 50 people have been banned. You can still get food by delivery or takeout. Gas stations are still open. Grocery stores are still open. So I'm taking a look at my notes here. There have been some other very interesting things that I've noticed. I'm very much involved in the precious metal markets, specifically gold, silver, and platinum. Uh, and that stuff has been all over the place. When you see the stock market go down, generally, when the American market goes down or the American dollar goes down, people tend to buy gold and other precious metals as a way to hedge their bets. So you'll see a drop off, and then you'll see you'll see a drop off in the markets. You also see a quick drop in gold prices and some other precious metals, and then usually they spike up right afterwards, maybe a day or two. Well, we saw the initial stock market, sort of crash, what was that, like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and the metals went down and then went up, gold specifically, and then we had another crash sort of today, and the metals went down, and so they should rebound. But what I have noticed is that they've stayed down below the levels that they crashed to. They never fully recovered or gained ground from where they were. Silver is especially interesting. Silver hit about 1880, close to $19 an ounce, just a couple weeks ago. Then when we had the first crash, quote unquote, it tanked. And now with the second crash, it tanked and then spiked a little bit. It got all the way down from 1880 to 1180 an ounce. That's it's like 60% drop of silver in 2 weeks, which is insane. Gold has dropped about 10% or something, but 60%. I'm sorry, I 40% for silver. I didn't mean 60. I apologize. Tired, and my head isn't working properly right now. Now, the silver is more easily explainable because silver itself is actually used in industrial processes, and it's used up and unrecoverable. So when there's not as much industry going on, especially in China and the United States, you're going to see silver prices drop. But on the other hand, since silver is used up in some chemical and mechanical processes and is unrecoverable, it actually has a higher intrinsic value when it comes to its use than gold actually does. So it's interesting to see those numbers kind of be finicky, which makes me think that something's going on that's a little bit different from the norm, especially when you look at gold trends historically. When there's a stock market crash, gold will dip and then, like I said, go back up, and it's not doing that. It's staying down. Gold is staying down. Rhodium fell from 13,000 a few weeks ago to 7,000 now, which is insane. That's almost 50%. Other things like palladium doing the same thing, platinum doing the same thing. So there's a lot of uncertainty. So there's no safe haven in the precious metals markets, and there's no safe haven in the stock market. So that is disconcerting, especially for someone like myself that does do quite a bit of business in the precious metals market. On the bright side, it's cheaper to buy right now. But I also do know that a lot of bullion dealers and refiners are just not selling. They would rather hold on to what they do have, especially silver, than sell it at such a low price or even a loss for them. Then it just makes more business sense for them to hold on to it. So it's actually getting harder to get a hold of, which could eventually drive the price back up. So that's my thoughts on that. I've talked to friends and family about this whole situation. I warned them several weeks ago about all this, and they were, like I talked about in the previous video, they were, joking about it. I've been talking to them since. I do have someone who is close to me that I have not had contact with in, I would say, a month or so, who is now in quarantine with their family. So that's kind of a big deal. This person has also been in close contact with one of my siblings, and their children. I also haven't been in contact with my sibling or their children since about a month or so ago. So this whole situation has gotten rather close to me. I can't go into much more detail than that, just for the sake of privacy and keeping that under wraps. They're doing fine health-wise. The kids are fine. I'm assuming that my sibling will have to be tested soon, and we'll see where that goes. So I'm a little bit stressed about that. So I want to talk now about potential places things could go. And this is without trying to be alarmist. As I've said before, I'm trying to be very even-keeled about this. I hope that this is just the government trying to be safe, or maybe it's an overreaction. But we can't deny that there's a possibility that this is something more insidious going on. You have to ask, if this is a virus that is not incredibly deadly in comparison with, like, let's say the flu or anything else, why would the government why would the government mandate the shutting down of private businesses that will literally submarine the economy and put small business owners and regular people who just work for them in dire financial straits, especially when the demand for food and water is high and the supply is low? There's a lot of different ways you could take that. You could say that they're just, trying to be cautious. You could say that, they're trying to make people scared and compliant. If things were to continue down this path, you could see people run out of food and water. They don't have it. And maybe they become restless or violent, or they protest, and then the government uses that as a reason to declare martial law. And then what do? They institute curfews. Beyond that, what do? Maybe they say they want to put people in FEMA camps, to keep them safe and healthy, which is counterintuitive when it comes to, anyone that understands how viruses spread or any sort of contagions. But I can see that being possible, and then that also opens the door for easy way for, whoever they send in to do the work to go house to house, take whatever they want, confiscate guns, and there would be no resistance, especially if people are already either sequestered to their homes with nowhere to go, or they're in facilities. So that's a scary prospect. I don't like that idea. I think at the very least we're headed towards a situation where people are going to be in mandatory quarantine in large numbers, maybe even entire towns and cities. And how do you enforce that? Well, you enforce that with martial law. So that is my concern right now. I am not concerned, as I said again, about the virus itself. I'm concerned about people getting stir crazy, being stuck in the house, not having stuff to do. Can't go to the gyms now. All the gyms are also closed. And he can't go to the gym. And neither can I, but I work out at home as well. I got my own everything. So, but I think some of the social aspect will wear on people. I think people will turn on each other. This is one of those things that a lot of people would say stuff like this would unite people, but something like this it causes paranoia and fear in other people. So I could see that causing a lot of problems and leading to the things I talked about previously. So I want to hear your thoughts, comments. I hope everyone out there is holding up well. I'm going to do this every day now until this is resolved, or until these services no longer exist. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope you all stay well. Pragmatic Prepper out.